Okay, good afternoon, students. So today we are going to learn about Neo4j. Okay, this is the topic from the chapter 3, NoSQL database, NoSQL databases, graph database, graph-oriented database, and we are going to learn about, or we are going to know the basics of the case study of graph database, graph-oriented database, that is Neo4j. Okay. So have you understood the objective? Today's objective is to understand about Neo4j, that is a graph-oriented database of NoSQL type of database. So let's start. Okay, so as we know that this re relational database management system is suitable for transactions whenever there are major transactions happening in your database, like you are doing the shopping payment, buying and selling. If you are whenever you're doing any transaction of payment, such kind of important operations, relational databases are used because your transaction should have the properties of ACID, like it should be atomic, consistent, um, independent and durable. So whenever there is any important transaction happening when you are accessing a website, that time relational databases are used. But for the applications like Facebook or Amazon, whenever you're doing the shopping, or on the WhatsApp, there are millions of users who are browsing your site or browsing the social media network site, and they are just doing some operation which may not be a transaction. For such kind of operation, like in Amazon's website, whenever you are searching for the catalog and you are taking a decision about which items to buy, how much quantity to buy, whenever you are reading the specifications, that time we don't need that information to be stored into the transactional database management system. So for performing analytical queries, we use NoSQL databases. For any big application or any famous application which is having millions of users doing multiple operations at the same time, we use both the types of databases. For any important transaction, we use relational database management system, which helps you in supporting ACID properties. And whenever you are doing any non-transactional operation and when you want to do any analytics kind of query to be fired on a big data, then we use NoSQL databases. There are four types of NoSQL databases. That is key value. Example is HBase that we have studied. Then document based, that is MongoDB, that is also done. Then we have column oriented database is HBase, and key value is Amazon's DynamoDB, and the fourth one is the graph database. Okay, I'll just repeat this again. So for performing any transactions on a famous website like Facebook or WhatsApp or any other network, then we use transactional RDBMS database management system. But for performing any analytical kind of query on big data, we use NoSQL databases. NoSQL ka there are four types. Key value is Amazon DynamoDB, column oriented is HBase, document oriented is MongoDB, and graph oriented we are studying about Neo4j. Okay, there are many types of databases, but we have taken one example to understand the type of NoSQL. So we are learning the fourth type of NoSQL database, that is graph database as per the syllabus, and a case study will be Neo4j. And today's objective is to understand about Neo4j. Okay, so a graph database is looking like this as shown in the diagram. It looks like as shown in the diagram. Your table is in the form of a graph. Your data, RDBMS ka table is in the form of the entire graph. So entire table is a graph, and a node is a row. Every node is a row in that table. Okay, for example, here suppose we are saying that the employee works for the department. Then in RDBMS you may have an employee table and a department table, and the relationship between these two tables is works for relationship. employee works for this particular department. So here in this case of graph oriented databases, the node represents the row, and every row has a property. Every node has some properties, or every age represents the relationship between the two nodes. Okay, in graph oriented database, it is a collection of nodes and edges. It is a collection of nodes and edges. When node represents the entity like a person or business, and the age represents the relationship between these two nodes. So node is an entity like a person, employee, or department, and the age represents the relationship between these two nodes. So when we are using graph oriented databases, we focus on the relationships between the nodes. While in RDBMS, we don't focus on the relationship. We focus on the table ka fields. Then like what are the columns and what are the data types and how they are getting stored. So we don't much focus on the relationship between the tables. And the relationships are created with the help of foreign key, primary key constraints. So different types of constraints are used. So we don't much focus on constraints in case of RDBMS, but here we focus on the relationships between the nodes. So what is a node? Node may be a row in the table. Like here, it can be an employee ka row, and this row it will have a set of properties. Every node can have a set of properties, and there is no compulsion that every node has same set of properties. Like this is, suppose this is an employee. This employee has a number 1000. His name is ABC. Department number is 20. While this is a department which has the properties as department number as 20, department name is a HR department, department head is a person XYZ, and suppose this is another department. So the another department may have only 5 fields, or this department may have 3 fields, or this employee may have 3 fields, while this green color another employee may have 5 fields. So like we have the flexible schema. Every row has any number of key value pairs, and key value pair is nothing but the property, and the property means the key and the value means the column name and the corresponding value. Okay, in RDBMS you have rows and columns. So columns are nothing but these fields, and these fields are represented with the help of these key value pairs as in the form of properties for the node. Even we can have the properties for the relation between the two nodes. Okay. So what we can summarize from this particular slide is that suppose any particular problem, it is applicable to any problem. It is not only for the social media. Graph oriented databases are very famous for the social media kind of applications like WhatsApp, where you want to see how many people are there in the group, and who is the most active person in the group, or you want to find out the communities, different types of communities in the WhatsApp. For such kind of situations, graph databases are very useful for the social media network kind of applications. But they can also be used for any kind of application where you can draw anything with the help of paper pencil in the form of a graph. So whatever you can represent in the form of a graph can use the graph databases. Any problem which can be represented in the form of nodes and edges can use this graph oriented databases. So whatever we can whiteboard anything, if you can whiteboard anything, you can graph it. Okay, and what we can summarize from this slide is that the graph is made up of nodes and the connections between the nodes. The node indicates the row for the table. This entire graph indicates the table, and the node indicates the row, and the connection between two nodes represents the relationship between the two entities, and the node has a set of properties. Even the age can have a set of properties, and this set of property means it is a collection of keys and values, where key indicates the column of RDBMS and the value indicates the corresponding value for this particular row. So this is a row, and these are 3 values or 3 columns for this particular row. So this is the entire table, and this is the particular row, and for that row there are 3 columns. So another row may have 5 columns, and the two green color nodes, they are of same type. Okay, or two blue color nodes are of same types. So like this, we can have a heterogeneous type of graph with multiple different kinds of nodes. Means multiple different kinds of rows of different tables, and this is your database. Okay, in case of any doubt, you can unmute and ask me. Okay, this is the overview of graph oriented database. Whenever I'm saying graph oriented database, you should know or you should remember this diagram. And remember that these relationships are also having a set of properties. Nodes can also have a set of properties. Relationships also can have a set of properties. And when we design this graph oriented database, we concentrate on these relations, which we don't do for RDBMS. And because of that, we get some problems for analytical queries. Okay, so no, this is a Neo4j example. Right now, we are just seeing what are the properties of graph-oriented databases. A graph stores the data. A graph database stores the data in the form of a graph. All your data is in the form of a graph. It uses graph theory. So by using graph theory, mathematical graph theory, we can perform the operations of mapping or searching or storing or doing the query for the relationships. Okay, so using the mathematical, so mathematics is there in, behind this particular databases, and with the help of this graph theory, mathematical graph theory, where graph is represented as a um, ages and value, relation of age and value, we can store the data in the database, or we can map, or we can query the relationships easily. Okay, and as I told you, we focus on the modeling the structure of the data. Like data model is very important when we are accessing graph oriented databases. So we focus on interconnections between the nodes. So it is well suited for analyzing interconnections. So it is very popular for social media mining, and even for supply chain management kind of complex relationships, we can also use such kind of graphs for analyzing such relationships. And it scalable. It is highly scalable to high complex data. The data model is also called as the data model for this data graph oriented database is also called as a property graph, because every node has a property list of properties, and every age has a list of properties. So it is also called as a data model for this particular graph oriented databases is called as a property graph, where we have nodes and edges, and nodes have properties. Every node has a unique ID, and edges also have the labels and roles and properties, and they are also equally important to the nodes. And we concentrate on the edges, and the properties are stored in the form of key value pairs. Okay, so this I told you in the form of a diagram in the beginning. When we compare RDBMS and graph oriented databases, RDBMS may we have rows and columns, and there is no fixed schema, so it is highly structured, and we do not store the relationship between the data. We can have a foreign key and kind of mechanism to show the relationships. Okay, so in the graph oriented databases, we have the relationships and connections stored for the data. So while comparing, I told you this, but let's see in the form of a slide. That table is a graph, row is a node which has unique ID, and the node has a property set of properties in the form of keys and values, and they are nothing but the columns of RDBMS. The relationships are nothing but the constraints between the that you define. Like employee table will have a department ID as a foreign key, or department may have employee ID as a foreign key, and the relationships are stored. So here in case of graph, we can have a unidirectional or bidirectional relationship stored between two nodes. And for joins, here we use this traversal mechanism, graph traversing. Like if you want to find out that in which department, what is the department name for the employee 1000. So employee node, employee number 1000 node is having a department number 20. So graph traversal will happen. It will traverse through this link, reach to the department number whose this is department number 20, and you it will have a property called as a name and extract the name. So here for joins, instead of using joins as a query, we use a graph traversal mechanism to get the data for analysis. Okay, so here with employee node, only the number is stored and the name is stored with the actual department number 20. So the graph is traversal is is happening over here to get the department name from one node to the another node. Okay, like such kind of graph oriented databases are uh, very helpful when you want to fire a query such as what items did a customer buy. Suppose I want to find out that there is a particular customer XYZ and what are the items that he has purchased, or we want to find out that there is a product TV and how many customers have bought TV. Okay, for such kind of queries for relational database management systems, we have to use the joins. We have to combine two tables and fire the complex queries. And if your data is having multiple millions of tables and millions of records, then it becomes very tough and cumbersome job. So instead of that, in case of graph-oriented database, it can be easily done with the help of traversal. For example, suppose I have a customer XYZ, the name of the customer, this is a node customer, and suppose the name is XYZ. He buys three items, like here he buys three different items. So suppose he buys a laptop, he buys a TV, he also buys a washing machine. So if the query is what items did a customer buy, so we can just easily do the graph traversal and find out what are the different products purchased by this particular customer. Or if you have the query which customers bought this product, like which customers has bought a washing machine, so we can just see that the washing machine node where there are two incoming connections. One is from customer name ABC and another is from the customer name XYZ. Okay. So washing machine is purchased by ABC and XYZ. So we can easily find out that. But if we have the corresponding relational database management system, we may have the table like user table where the user can, because we do the normalization and we have a user table where user information is there. Then the orders, even order table where all the orders are stored and corresponding user IDs who has placed this order is maintained. Then for a particular order, the detailed information about the order, that what is the product ID and what is the quantity belonging to this particular order, and there will be a product table. And then if you want to fire a query like this, then it is very cumbersome job. What items did a customer buy? So customer table, you need to see the customer is suppose Bob, and then you need to see the ID, then ID say order ID, say you need to see how many products, and then you can get the description, and then it becomes a very complex job. And if your data is big, then it will not perform well. Okay, so that's why there was a need of graph oriented data analysis. Then see the example. Actually, I have told you this, but because of the gap in between lectures, I'm just revising this. Here you can see we can do such kind of uh, concepts which are connected to each other or entities connected to each other. So the next version of Web is Web 3.0. Web 1.0 was a web where we have designed only the websites, e-commerce websites where we can perform buying and selling operations. Because of internet got famous in 19 internet got invented in 95 and it became famous in a few years we were working for creating the websites which are e-commerce websites, and we did only buying and selling. That version of web is called as Web 1.0. Now then we are currently having Web 2.0 where there is a social media network where your website is created by people. People are contributing and your website is getting developed by people also. People also contribute for your website. Otherwise Web 1.0 may only the one person or the organization used to create the website. Now in social media network everyone is contributing. Like in YouTube, we upload the videos, everyone is contributing and people are accessing the videos, so anyone can upload, anyone can access or view the video. So it is this is a social media websites, and it is the version of the web is called as Web 2.0, and now there will be a Web 3.0. In Web 3.0, still it is not in execution, but some people have started working and some organizations are already having some of the applications which are compatible to Web 3.0. Okay, so in future we may have a work like all the computer engineers will or will always have work, they will be migrating their applications to Web 3.0. Their existing applications, they will make it compatible to Web 3.0. And what is Web 3.0? It is a semantic web where everything is represented with the help of the meaning associated to it. For example, each and every entity which is there in the world will be represented with the form of a node, and it will have the connections with the other nodes. So all the information which is available in the world, everything will be interconnected, and you will have a huge big graph, and on that graph as a background or knowledge base, your applications will start working. Okay, this I'm talking about Web 3.0, and this is just a small snapshot of such kind of graph on which will act as a knowledge base, and we will have our applications running on the top of this knowledge base. So what is this graph or this knowledge base? For example, it can be suppose there is an entity called as Eiffel Tower. So Eiffel Tower information is stored in the form of a graph. So Eiffel Tower is a place. What is it? It is a place. It is located in Paris. What is a Paris? Paris is a city. Okay. Then Alice is a person who visited. Alice is a person. Alice visited Eiffel Tower. Bill is a person who visited Eiffel Tower. Alice is a friend of Bob. Bob is a person. Okay, like this. This is a museum where the Mona Lisa painting is stored or exhibited. It is located in Paris. Or Mona Lisa is created by Leonardo da Vinci. It is about Washington. Or Bob is interested in Mona Lisa, or he was born in 90s. Okay, so everything in the world is represented in the form of an entity node, and all the relationships of these nodes will be represented in the form of a graph. So you can whenever your business problem is becoming complex, for the websites like Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Plus, Twitter, YouTube, Flickr, for them it is extensively used, and they are using graph-oriented databases because there are no joins, there are no indexes. Okay. Another example is suppose so this graph-oriented databases, they are also helpful in performing recommendations easily. For example, here suppose this person has purchased this product. This product is purchased by these three people, one, two, three, and they have purchased. And this person follows sports. This also man follows sports, and this girl follows sports. So this may be a sports product. So these two people who follow sport kind of activity, they purchase this particular product. So this girl may also purchase the this particular product. So this girl will be recommended with this particular product. Or this boy knows this girl, and he knows this boy. So both of them, they are his friends. So this boy may also know this girl. So we can recommend on the Facebook that do you know this, or do you want to be friend with this girl. Okay, so like this, the recommendations are provided on the social media network websites, and for recommendations, graph-oriented databases are recommended. Okay, so so we can say that for non-transactional systems, it is a small number of large graphs, and for transactional, it is a large number of small graphs. And what are the types of queries that we fire on this graph-oriented database is that create a node or update a node with the properties, or remove a node, or create a relationship between two nodes, or we can have a graph algorithm like find out the shortest path between two people or two entities, or spanning tree, or do the graph traversal to get the information, or to perform subquery, subgraph query, or supergraph query. So currently, suppose you are at a particular node in your, this graph can also be represented in the form of a tree. So if you are at a particular level in the node, and then you can fire a query for all the nodes which are below this particular node, or you can fire a query for all the nodes who are the super nodes of this node. So a particular node may have super node or subnodes. So you can fire the subgraph query, or you can fire the supergraph query, or you can fire the similarity based query on this graph. Like Who are the two different nodes who are similar? Like who are the two different people who are similar? Or who are the two different products which are similar? Such kind of queries you can find. Okay, so for graph oriented databases, we can find the queries like creating, updating, removing the node or relationship, graph algorithms like shortest path or spanning tree, graphs, node traversals, or subgraph query, supergraph query, or similar kind of nodes finding query. These are different names of the graphs like Neo4j, OrientDB, HyperGraphDB, GraphBase, Infinite Graph, Allegro Graph. Allegro Graph is also famous, and but we are going to concentrate on Neo4j. Because in the exam, they will ask you the question for 10 marks where you need to explain something about NoSQL and you need to explain in detail two different NoSQL databases. So this particular portion is for 5 marks. And always it is asked in the exam. Okay. So now see these are the features of Neo4j. Whatever is written in this red color, these are the features of NoSQL databases. Most of the NoSQL databases are highly available. They are fault tolerant. They will provide give you high performance and they are scalable. So this is with respect to NoSQL. But here there is some change for Neo4j. There is no sharding. So when you store or distribute your data, sharding is not used here in this case. Okay. So that you need to remember that is the difference in between this NoSQL and other NoSQL databases. Neo4j is open source or application master slave techniques are used. It follow most of the NoSQL databases they don't allow you to have ACID transactions. You need to have some mechanism to ensure that if there is any transaction and if there is a need, then how to do that for other data NoSQL databases. But by default, it is not supported for other NoSQL databases. But Neo4j ACID transactions are supported. It ensures data integrity and constraints. Even it has a query language called as SQL. Other NoSQL databases, there is no query language. RDBMS, we have SQL. SQL is not there for other NoSQL databases, other three types of SQL databases. Here also SQL is not there, but here there is Cypher query language to fire the query on the graph-oriented database. And we are using mathematical graph theory behind this. So the database is designed in such a way that the graph traversal algorithms will execute in a very, very fast manner. So they promote this database with the term as high performance. That immediately you get the answers for a query. It is developed by Neo. It is a Neo4j name is Neo. Neo is a company who developed this Neo4j. It is implemented in Java and Scala. So it can be configured easily with Java and Scala language. And cross-platform relationships can be bidirectional or unidirectional. Even it supports a data browser. So when you are working with Neo4j, you will be able to get your UI on the browser. So there is a data browser. It has inbuilt data browser which provides a user interface to execute SQL commands. So you can see the output of your work in the form of in the browser. So so it is integrated with the browser. And native graph processing engine is used. The engine processing engine is itself um, it is a graph processing engine. So to store the graph, to perform the query on the graph, it is designed in such a way that it will give you the results very fast as compared to what we write our graph algorithm. And it's tedious job when you are writing any graph kind of programs, then it is a tedious job actually. In case of Java or C++, when you have done the data structures practicals where you created a graph, so that is a tedious job. But here the engine is designed in such a way that it's very easy and it is high performance. Yes, it gives you the answers very fast. It can export the query to JSON format, the answers and the JSON format may key value pair format may you can get the answers. Even it provides you the APIs, REST APIs, representational state transfer APIs to access this Neo4j database in Java and Scala. Okay. So that means you are having your data in the form of a graph in Neo4j, and the APIs are provided to you, and even the APIs can be REST-based API. REST-based API means they can access via internet. So you can write a Java client which can use these APIs, and it can access your data which is there into your Neo4j through REST APIs. So I think you must be knowing about REST. If you don't know about REST, like I can tell you, like it is you have service oriented architecture where wherever you write any application or business logic, it can be in the form of a service, web service, which can be accessed via internet through HTTP protocol. So that particular service can also be accessed through REST APIs. Okay, and then constant time for local graph traversal is there regardless of the data size. Even if your data size is big, the graph traversal will have approximately constant time for graph traversal. It will not be a difference even if the size is increased. So it supports scalability. So the major highlights of Neo4j is that it supports ACID transactions, CQL is there, REST-based APIs for Java and Scala is there. For a high scalability provision is there. Means even if the size is no amount, kitna bhi size बढ़ जाए, it will give you answers very fast and it's highly available. And high performance. Performance is very high. Okay, because they are giving the example. Neo4j website, the videos where they are saying that giving the example like suppose you are doing any shopping in the shopping shopper's stop, and whenever you are doing your paying your bill. So when you are paying your bill, that person at the time of the transaction happening, before the transaction happens, that time a pop-up will come and it can identify that you are the customer who have done lots of you are the um, gold customer, and this type of concession can be is applicable on this particular bill, and such kind of information is provided because of the NoSQL Neo4j working in the background, and with the huge data. Uh, Whenever you are doing the transaction or whenever you are paying the bill, that time only it can suggest you that such kind of concession is applicable to this particular customer. Okay, so you don't have to do anything. It will automatically analyze the customer and will give mm, uh, the uh, the concession to the customer on the fly. That is possible because of the high performance of Neo4j, and this is the advertisement that they are Neo4j people are doing. Okay, this is another example of the table where the name Bob is a follower of Jack. He's so that's what I'm saying, that everything in the Web 3.0, everything is related to each other. All the entities in the world are related to each other. Okay, for example, the name follows Jack. He stays here in this particular city, New York, country, USA. His posts are reviewed or read by this Carl, is answered. Product query was answered by Paul, and this was his recent order. The order has this particular item. So this name, this Bob, is related to, or he is connected to many nodes around him. Whatever he is doing, everything is connected to each other, and the relations are there. Okay, so but we are for that will be for the Web 3.0, where we are assuming that there will be a graph, a huge knowledge base available, and everything is connected to each other. But with respect to a particular application, we may have some things which are related to each other. So people have started uh, using these graph databases currently for their own application. So only application related nodes are created and relations are established right now. But Web 3.0, we say that everything in the world, dictionary mein jitna bhi words hai, everything, all the entities will be connected to each other. Okay. The another example for you, another example, like in relational database, you have organization, person table, product table, and order table. And I want to find out which organization in city one ordered the item laptop. Okay, which organization in the city one? I want to find out. Such a complex query is there. organization for a particular organization जिसका branch city 1 में है and who which purchased the item laptop. What is the name of that organization? So in this case, suppose I'm using relational database management system, then I have to see what is the laptop, what is the product ID, in which orders it is there. So it is there in order number 1003, 1005, 1003 order ID is ordered by this organizations one and organization one, but these are two different cities, and I'm interested only in city one. So I'm interested only in this particular record and city one mein. So that is organization ID is one and the name of the organization is ABC. So you can think like what kind of query it will be. It is going to use multiple joins and even the nested queries also will be there. And if the size of the data is big, then it will not run fast. So we can use a graph database here like this, where it is very easy to traverse the graph. Just see what is the laptop, and what are the orders related to this laptop. So see the another node here should be bidirectional relationship. Then this order 1003 is placed by John who works at ABC, and ABC is this ABC is in a particular city one, and then you can easily find out by traversing the graph. Okay, so we don't have to use multiple join color queries. Okay, so and we use the CQL, that is cipher query language, to perform CRUD operations on Neo4j. And this is one sample example of creating a particular node. So create P1 as a person, where P1 is the unique ID for this node. Every node will have a unique ID, and the key and value is the column is name, and name of the person is John. And every node, I told you that every node will have a set of properties. Okay, so graph databases directly store relationships between the records and used in a scenario where lots of navigation is needed in a social network site. Okay, like here there is an employee. Suppose there is an employee or company and city. Then we can say that employee works for a company. Then company is in a particular city, is located in a city. So located in and works for, these are the relations. Employee, company, and city are the nodes, and it is unidirectional. It can be bidirectional also. The node may have the properties, key value pairs, name, date of birth, and ID of the employee can be stored here. For the node, it represents an object. If you are writing any object-oriented program, then it will be a class, and its object will be created in your program. And node is an entity which can hold any number of attributes or key value pairs. It can hold any number of attributes, and there is no restriction. One city may have 5 key value pairs, another city may have 2 key value pairs. So flexible schema is there, and even the relationships has the key value pairs or the properties. And the relation can be unidirectional or bidirectional. It can be named relation, such as works for, semantically relevant. It can also have properties like weight, cost, distance, time, rating, strength, and it can be navigated efficiently in either direction. It can be efficiently navigated. Once you say that there's a relation, it can be efficiently navigated through, and SQL can find out the answers. Okay, so finally we can see what are the advantages and disadvantages. The advantages are it is having a flexible data model. The data model is very flexible. Data model is a property data model, because we say that every node has a list of properties, key value pairs. So number of columns are different for different nodes. There's different rows have different columns, and the data model is very, very flexible. Okay, and it can be easily changed according to the applications and industries, because we know that now whenever we develop any application today, the customer says that I want this many properties for a particular row, and tomorrow he says that okay, I want to capture a few more features. So today, suppose for employee, he has stored three properties of the employee: ID, date of birth, and phone number. And tomorrow, when tomorrow whenever there is a need, he says that no, no, I want email ID also. Then or I want the WhatsApp number of the employee. And so today you design your RDBMS with 3 columns, and tomorrow there is a need that the customer wants to capture more features, and you want um, your table with 5 different features. So if it is RDBMS, then you will have to shut down your machine, shut down the server. You have to update the table, update the structure of the table employee, and you have to add 2 more columns. Means your application is not available 24/7, because you will have to shut down the server, you have to update the table, and when the table, and then you have to restart your machine. So your application is not available 24/7, and when you restart the machine, your previous millions of records are not having any value for that particular columns, newly added columns, and they will be having null value. And if there is a null value, means the value is null, but the storage is there, storage memory is allocated, because tomorrow you can update that value for that particular customer. So the storage is allocated, and RDBMS is designed in such a way that all the columns of the row are stored sequentially on the same block of your disk, so that when you retrieve the row, all the columns are retrieved. Okay, so whenever you say that there are 2 columns which the values are null right now, but the memory is allocated for them. So you need a huge memory, and most of the memory is lying as a blank because of the sparse data. Okay, so relational database में possible नहीं है ये. And here it is providing you the flexible data model. Whenever you create any new node, you just have 5 extra features. Or for the existing node, you update that node and add the new feature or new property in that node. So it is having a flexible data model, and it is according to the current needs of applications and industries. So it is very useful. And real-time insights, it provides results based on the real-time data. At real-time, on the fly, you can do the analysis and you get the results. So real-time insights for the big data is possible. Okay. Right now, like you may have a slow machine and a simple kind of environment, so you may find out. But actually, with the proper machines and with the proper setup, Neo4j, they are saying that it is giving you real-time analysis of big data. It's highly available, as I told you. Even if there is any change or whatever, it is continuously available because of replication. And for replication, master slave replication architecture is used, like HDFS, where you have a master node, and actually the data is stored on multiple machines on the cluster. So the replicated copies of the data are stored at different places, and master slave techniques are used. So it is highly available. If some part of your data is not available, it is taken from the other part of your cluster. Okay, and it guarantees you the transaction, because ACI, it supports ACID. Then the another advantage of Neo4j is that connected and semi-structured data. You can easily represent connected data relations between each other, and it is even the semi-structured data is also is is possible. Easy traversal and easy retrieval of the data, because the data store is Neo4j is designed is in such a way that the data processing engine is designed in such a way that it follows the graph theory, and uh, it can allow you to retrieve the data fast. And Cypher query language is the advantage, because it is a declarative query language, and commands are very easy, human readable format, English like format. So it's very easy to learn SQL. There are no joins, no complex kind of joins and retrievals are there, because only nodes and relationships are stored. So even if your data is big and huge, and it's going on increasing, whenever you fire the query, you will require the same amount, a constant amount of time for querying with with the small data and with the maximum big data. The amount of time to execute the query will remain the same. That is a big advantage, because in RDBMS, when the size of the data is increased, your data ka query answer is becoming very slow. But here in case of Neo4j, even if the data is small or data is big, the amount of time to execute the query and get the answer is same. So without join, without indexes, you are able to access or traverse the adjacent node and retrieve the data. Okay, then we'll see the features. As I told you, this is again the advantage of flexible flexible schema is the advantage and the feature also with the native property graph data model, and the properties are stored in the form of key value pairs. Okay, you can easily add and remove the properties. Supports full SCID, highly scalable and reliable because of SCID support. Read write operations are done carefully and data integrity is maintained. And again, because of SQL, you can create or retrieve the relationships. Built-in web application. There is built-in Neo4j browser web application, and you can see your answer in the form of Neo4j browser. Okay. Then it supports the drivers of REST APIs, so it can work with Java, Spring, Scala using REST APIs, or it can also use JavaScripts to work with UI MVC framework such as Node.js. So you can easily integrate and you can make it very dynamic kind of application, or UI can be provided because of the support of JavaScript, and even Java APIs are also supported. So there are two types of Java APIs, Cypher API and native Java APIs to develop the Java applications. So whenever you want to fire the Cypher query, you can use this library functions of Cypher API, and whenever you want to access that data in the Java or something you want to retrieve and use directly in Java, Java APIs are also there. And addition, you can also work with other databases such as MongoDB and Cassandra. And it supports indexes by using Apache product. Okay, so they concentrate. So we can say that the graph databases they concentrate on data relationships. Okay. So this was about Neo4j, and as I told you, like in the exam, the typical questions which are asked in the exam are explain NoSQL, what are the features of NoSQL databases, and explain two different NoSQL databases, like explain HBase and graph oriented, or graph oriented and document oriented, or sometimes they will ask you to choose yourself about any two NoSQL databases. Okay, so till now we have covered about NoSQL. We have taken sufficient lectures on NoSQL because it is very important topic. Even though in the exam they ask about 10 to 15 marks of questions on this particular topic, it is very important because you are going to do your mini projects using NoSQL databases. Most of the mini projects in NoSQL databases. So I have spent much time on this NoSQL databases, and only one topic is remaining. That is how NoSQL is overcoming some of the distributed application ka problems. So I will take one more lecture with the overview of NoSQL and that problem solutions, because sometimes specifically that question is asked for 5 marks, and then we can move on to the next topic that will be a next chapter of your syllabus. Okay, so what is done till now is big data. What is big data? Big data applications, case studies, then Hadoop ka core components, Hadoop ka ecosystem components, HDFS in detail, MapReduce programming, matrix multiplication, then word count problem, then joins and relational algebra. All this is done, and the third chapter is NoSQL. So we are on the last topic of third chapter, that is NoSQL ka some issues, how NoSQL handles them for distributed applications. That I'll take in the next lecture. Okay, so we can stop now for today, and let's meet on Wednesday, Thursday. Okay. Any doubts, any problems when in identifying mini projects? Update your information on mini projects ka Excel in the classroom. I'm going to